There is a line attributed to Jimmy Carr, the British-Irish comedian, that hits harder the longer you sit with it. Everyone is jealous of what you have. No one is jealous of what it took to get it. And that one sentence explains so much human pain. Because most people do not really want your life. They want the visible part. They want the result. They want the house, the body, the relationship, the business, the peace, the confidence, the freedom, the applause. But they do not want the quiet mornings when nobody clapped. They do not want the years where you looked foolish. They do not want the nights where you doubted yourself and still showed up the next day. They do not want the boredom of discipline. They do not want the loneliness of choosing a path before anyone else understands it. That is the part we hide from ourselves. We look at someone else's harvest and we forgot there was a winter. We see the view from the mountain, but not the blisters from the climb. And the ego loves that. The ego wants the reward without the refining. It wants the crown without the character. It wants to be seen as strong, but it does not want to sit in the room alone and face weakness. But life does not work like that. Not really. Anything worth having asks something from you. Peace asks you to stop feeding chaos. Confidence asks you to keep promises to yourself. A strong body asks for repetition when motivation is gone. A real business asks for service, patience, mistakes, rejection, and skill. Love asks to outgrow the version of you that only knows how to protect itself. Everybody wants elevation. Few people want initiation. Everybody wants the breakthrough. Few people want the breaking open that usually comes before it. Everybody wants the harvest. Few people want the soil because the soil is dark, it is quiet, it is unseen. But that is where roots grow, and roots matter more than applause. So when you feel jealousy rise, do not rush to shame yourself. Pause. Look at it honestly, because sometimes jealousy is not proof that you are evil. Sometimes it is proof that there is an unhealed desire inside you asking for your attention. Sometimes it is pointing at something you secretly want, but you have not yet become willing to grow into. That does not mean you should feed it. That does not mean you should justify resentment. It means you should listen deeper. Because there are two ways jealousy could move through a person. Unconscious jealousy says, I hope they fall. Awakened jealousy says, show me what they practiced in the dark. One makes you smaller, the other makes you honest. So if you envy the crown, steady the character. If you envy the view, steady the climb. If you envy the harvest, steady the soil. Because the visible blessing is never the whole story. Behind almost every life you admire, there is a private training ground you did not see. There were sacrifices nobody applauded. There were fears nobody knew about. There were habits repeated so many times they stopped looking impressive. There were seasons where nothing seemed to be working, but something was being built underneath. And here's the question most people avoid. Do you only want the fruit, or are you willing to become the kind of person who can grow the tree? Because those are not the same thing. A lot of people say they want success, but what they really want is relief. They want proof that they are enough. They want the world to finally say, you made it, you matter now. But if you build your whole life trying to earn your worth, even winning will feel empty. You will reach the top and still feel chased. This is where the deeper work begins. Not just working harder, working cleaner, working from truth, working because the path is shaping you, not because the trophy will save you. That is the spiritual part people miss. The training ground is not punishment, it is transformation. The delay is not always denial. Sometimes it is development. The obstacle is not always just in your way. Often it is the thing making you capable of carrying what you asked for. So the next time you catch yourself envying someone, pause. Do not just ask, why don't I have that? Ask, what did they have to become to hold that? Ask what habits did they build. Ask what comfort did they sacrifice. Ask what part of me would have to grow up to walk the path. Because the truth is simple. Everybody wants the trophy. Very few people want the training ground. But the training ground is where your nervous system changes. It is where your identity changes. It is where your soul stops begging life to make things easy and start becoming strong enough to meet life as it is. So yes, admire the view. Let it inspire you. But do not worship the view. Start climbing. Start small. Start honestly. Do the boring thing with love. Keep the promise no one sees. Choose the discipline your future self will thank you for. Because one day, someone may look at your life and feel jealous of what you have, and they will not see what it took, but you will. And that will mean more than the trophy ever could.